What is up, everyone? Today's lesson is going to be subtracting integers by adding on. Seems like a paradox, but we'll talk about it, because how do you subtract, which is take away, by adding things on? Well, let's do that today. Now, we've done the open number line subtraction before, and if you can't remember that, what we can do here is take 101 minus 22. Well, we can always line it up like this, but that's not the open number line subtraction. We're going to create a number line, and our highest point is 101, and our lowest point is 22, and we will use, instead of minusing or taking away, that is the difference. So in this area right here, what is the difference between 101 and 22? And we're going to add on this number line, and we're going to find out. So let's start adding on. What do we add on to 2 to get to the next 10? Well, we can go plus 8, and we would get 30. What can we get? What do we have to do to add to 30 to get to the next 100? We're going to add 70. That gets us to 100. And then how do we add to get to 101? Well, we add 1. And right here, you add the sum up, you will get 79, because 8 plus 70 plus 1 equals 79. The difference between 101 and 22 equals 79. I'll post a link below so that you'll be able to see how to use the open number line in subtraction a little bit more. But for our purposes now, let's just say that we're done with this. We're going to start going with integers now. When we see integers similar to this, 3 take away 4, you have to have a good concept of the number line, because you lining it up in primary, and you say you can't take away 3 apples by taking away, if you have 3 apples, you can't take away 4 apples. But if you know that you can go past 0 and go into negative numbers, you can. If we think of this as the number line and looking at that minus as not a takeaway or subtraction, we're going to think of it as the difference. This subtraction here is going to be known as the difference. So if we put the number line here, and we have the number 4 right there, here's the number 0, what do we have to add on? Remember, we're always adding on. What do we have to add on to 4 in order to get 3? Well, you can't add on positive numbers, you would have to add on negative numbers. You would have to add on -1. And what you would end up with is 3. And the answer of 3 minus 4 is actually -1. Let's try another example. -4 minus 8 is equal to what? Well, this is the difference, right? What is the difference between 8 and -4? So you can basically say, what can we add on to 8 to get to -4? What can we add on to 8 to get to -4? Here's our number line. Here's 0. Here's +4. Here's +8. Here's -4. And here is -8. Okay? So here is -8. What can we add on to +8? Right here. We have 8. What is the difference? How do we add on to 8 to get to -4? That doesn't look like a 4, does it? Can you pause it right now and try and figure out what do you have to add on to +8 to get to -4? Pause right now and press play when you got it. Okay, well, let's take a look here. Well, you can't add more positive numbers here. Like +1 will get you to +9. We actually have to add negative numbers. So if we add negative 4, we get to positive 4. We add another negative 4, and then another negative 4, and we get to negative 4 there. What we could do in one long stroke is we add negative 12. And that's how you subtract integers, by adding on. How do we do this with number chips? Well, let's take this example, negative 4 minus 8. Negative 4 minus 8. If we start off with 8 chips, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And what did we find out what the difference was? It was negative 12. So if we have 8 positive chips and we added 12 negative chips, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're going to zero these out because they pair up. And we end up with 4 negative chips. So once again, when we add on, we're trying to find the difference between the last number and the first number. So you always say, what can I add on to this second number so I can get the first number? Let's try another example. What if we have a number that has a negative to it? 3 minus negative 4. This is where you would use brackets. If we put a bracket right there, then we know that we are subtracting a negative 4. So remember, this right here is going to be the difference. What is the difference between this number and this number? Let's use the same vocabulary again. What could I add on to negative 4 to get positive 3? If we use a number line, let's start with negative 4. We'll have 0, and we'll have 1, 2, 3. Well, let's say again, what can we add to negative 4 to get to positive 3? What we can do is add positive 4, add positive 3, and you end up with positive 7. Because again, we're adding on. Even though it says subtraction here, what we want to realize is, once again, that this is not just minus or taking away, it is the difference. What is the difference between this number and this number? So we're adding on from negative 4 is positive 7. So again, the reason why it's just 2 bumps is you're adding 4 here and then adding 3, which is 7. I could even do it this way. Positive 7. And the answer to this question is positive 7. All right, how about you do one question, and then we'll end this tutorial. Can you please do this question? 10 minus negative 3. Press pause now and go ahead. Okay. Is the first step that you did was separate the negative? Great. Is the next step that you did was identify that this minus is the difference between this number and this number? Great. Now, were you set on adding on, what could I add on to negative 3 to get positive 10? Hopefully you're able to say that. You can do your number line. Start off with negative 3. I'll go to 0 here. We'll have 5, and then we'll go to 10. Nice open number line there. What could I add on to negative 3 here to get to positive 10? Well, we can do negative 3 plus 3 plus 10, which is equal to plus 13. And by default, you don't have to put the we don't have to put the plus. It's always going to equal positive.